Okay, great. Awesome. So, Ram, will start then, shall we? Okay, yeah. Yes, please. Yesterday, I was at Broadcast India show here in Mumbai, where there was an ISC, Indian Society of Cinematographers roundtable, where we had Anil Mehta sir and Sethu sir and Mitesh Mirchandani and all these five ISC cinematographers talking about their inspirations. Like what is it? We were discussing. There was a lot of discussion about the virtual reality and virtual production and all of that. And there was a question about, I think, I mean, in the course of it, I was just attending it and watching what people were saying. Uh, in the end, we are all storytellers, right? I think Anil Mehta sir was talking about how technology might come, technology might go, things will change. And there was one lady cinematographer, I forget, Deep, I think her name is Deepthi. She was talking about this something also Rajiv Menon sir has spoken to us when I was in Mindscreen and all of that. See, we are all on this planet. We are like telling each other, how do we tell each other, how do we progress humanity, how do we move forward as humans, right? Human beings, it's through stories. We're all telling each other stories. Like our brain is like a little I mean, not a little, my very complex CPU system, and it's like we feed each other stories, and then the mind processes that information, and then that is how we progress. And back in the day, when we know when people used to live in caves, they used to tell each other stories around a fireplace, right? And now we have a camera, so we're telling, before the camera came, it was through paintings, and then after the paintings came, it was photographs, and then when film came, it became film. So each era has its own form of storytelling. And films are basically stories about us. Why does some films work and some films don't? The reason is that is basically, if the audience is able to empathize with the characters on screen, right? That movie works. I think that is the bottom line, right? How effectively you tell the story, but in the end, it's about how, as a human being, am I able to connect with what is being shown to me in a screen, on a screen. So it is only, I believe that as filmmakers, it's about the storytelling process. And we are in this era of filmmaking. In the future, we might be living in a metaverse. Things will be much different at that point. So technology will keep changing, but the core idea of it is storytelling. And it could at film school, we do both practical and theoretical. Like, I attended two film schools. One is Mindscreen Film Institute, and the other is my European master's degree, where I did my MA in cinematography. I was in Europe, and I was studying in three different universities. It was a traveling program, and it was a great learning experience, primarily because of the peer group. And travel opens your mind. Living, there is research which talks about how, when you live in a foreign country, when you live in a different nation, you have to open your mind to new things, and that is going to automatically happen. So it is that process of, like, learning new things. And for example, I felt the most comfortable in, say, in Estonia. It was a quiet country, so you also discover who you are. There are a lot of romantic relationship advisors talk about how, before you find someone, you need to find yourself first. So as a storyteller, you need to find yourself first, and I have faced the situation before in life when I was younger, and I made a movie called Lucia. I shot it, but I was not fully formed yet. I didn't know myself, like, completely. I mean, we are all a journey. We are all in this journey of discovering the world around us. We live on a rock, floating in space. We don't know what's outside this universe, right? We literally, that is how we don't even know what's inside the earth. So humanity is really in a very nascent stage of understanding why we are here. So these questions of why we are here, all these things form us, and our explanation of what this universe is, this world is, and how do we interact with each other? What do we think about caste? What do we think about politics? What do we think about romance? All these things comes into our films. So I mean, definitely, this is a personal growth that shapes your films. But definitely, film school experience is something that kind of like puts it in a package. For those 2 years, you're not worried about earning money, and it's like you are focused on just learning. And that's a good starting point to, because as filmmakers, we need to constantly learn, we need to upgrade ourselves, understand our place in this world, and stuff like that. So it's a good starting point where you get both the practical aspect of it and the theoretical aspect of it, and you have a nice peer group. I remember when I was in Mindscreen, like a really nice peer group. Like, some of them have become cinematographers now, of their own right. And so we still keep in touch. So that peer group is very important, because we come from different backgrounds, and we all have a common goal that, okay, we're going to make movies. you know some of them, leave the craft, some of them stay on, some of them do different kinds of filmmaking. Some get into documentary, some get into wedding photography, some get into rentals. But this is an ecosystem that can be built at a film school. So I feel that that's a very good experience. uh, yeah, exactly, networking. And I think you become more of like a observer, right? You're observing how things get done, and only through observation you learn. And being a student is very important. It's a lifelong journey of being a student. It's not just if you made a film, it doesn't mean anything, because the next film has to be something else, right? Yes, you enjoy the success of a film that you've made, audiences connecting to it. That's one part of our journey, and then we move on to other things. Yeah, sure. I think one of my early experiences of films is Mani Ratnam sir, obviously. As a kid, I remember watching Roja with my family, and I was a tiny kid in Rajahmundry, and we went and watched in Ramba or something, Ramba Urvashi Menaka theaters. And I remember the smell of the theater. I remember it's the now, like, after the pandemic, especially when I'm going to the theaters, especially after VTK released, I ended up going to a lot of theaters, because I want to doing quality check, and understanding audience reaction and all of that. I kind of understood what kind of like rediscovering the community experience filming of watching a film in a theater. We've gotten so used to watching a movie in like this smaller screen. The big screen experience is actually truly magical, because that's where you're like completely in the midst of so many people, just glued to the screen. And I think that's a really I don't think any other form of art has that experience in the current world that we live in. So yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest I remember constantly watching the beginning scene of Dil Se, when the car comes, the out of focus, and then it shifts to the barbed wire. It stays in Shastra at the technology festival, I think, or it was an extramural lecture or something. You know, this, and I remember very clearly he told this beautiful story. Apparently, he still tells the same story now, uh, about how he was in Assam after he graduated out of film school, and there were a bunch of he was teaching photography to these kids in Assam, and he was talking about suddenly if all the kids start climbing the trees, and he was like, okay, what's going on, because he was just new there and all. And the kids told that, look, there's going to be a leopard. We can hear that there's going to be a leopard passing by or a tiger passing by or something. And he's like, but I don't know how to climb a tree. And apparently one of the kids said that, well, if that once the tiger comes, you will learn it by yourself. So uh, I don't know, when one of my ex-assistants, Arvind Kashyap, who shot Kantara now, when he came, okay, so he was yeah, he worked with me on Balay Shaktivel sir's film, and Lucia also. He was, part of the team and all of that. So he came to me. He got an offer for a film when he was working with me, and he's like, "Look, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm capable of it." And he was quite young at that time. And I said the same story to him, same story that Santosh Sivan sir narrated. And I'm glad he's doing well. Like, his movies are doing well, and he's done 777 Charlie. So it's the same question to me also. Like, we have this fear of like facing the unknown. We have the fear, but if your heart says that you're capable of it, maybe you should go ahead with it. So Santosh Sivan sir and Mani Ratnam sir, PC sir, obviously, and yeah, if you look at the international work, it's Vittorio Storaro, uh, Christopher Doyle, Roger Deakins. They're like the Ekalavya Guru. Yes, yeah. You grew up watching their films. So yeah. Vahatama, yeah, yeah. These are all the modern influences, and also Bradford Young, right? Bradford Young. He's my latest additional list, uh, added to my latest influences. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. Before we start ahead, thank you, Shrikar, for doing this. I mean, taking time and doing this. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. And also, I think you also can put the questions in the messages group thing also. If anybody can, like, yeah, yeah, he's here. Right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Hi. So, sir, are you a Malayali first things first?
Okay. First thing, when you ask a question, could you just introduce yourself so that I know where you're from and
Okay.
all of that? Yeah, yeah.
I'm Navneet. I'm from Chennai. Basically a Mallu. So we shifted here to Chennai. Now I'm doing my MSc chemistry
Okay.
in SRM University.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, go
Yes.
on.
So yeah, first things first. Are you a Malayali, sir?
No, I'm not. I'm Telugu. Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice. Sir, the climax sequence. Can you share some thoughts about it? And that Malayalam rap will come up no during the interval sequence. So how was that shot and some experiences about that, sir?
See, the rap came much later, but when
Huh.
we shot, obviously, we're not shooting to to music, right? We're more
Huh,
of
huh.
like so. But what exactly is your question? What is it?
Like, how did you take that? Like, it's one shot thing, right? Like, for example, take Iravan Nilal. It was in one shot film, 27 takes. So that'll be big challenging for you, know. So how was that your
See, I think
DOP work during that?
you're talking about the stunt sequence, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, stunt. So the thing is that this is I feel that the grammar of VTK evolved over the period of while we were filming.
Mm-hmm.
We started off. with the Tiruchendur part with like very standard blockings, like, where the camera is not moving, and like,
Hmm.
it was a grammar, because that is how the place is.
Hmm.
Nothing really moves. Everything is like kind of like, in a state of limbo. Like people's lives don't change so rapidly. Everybody is like doing their thing and all of that. So Tiruchendur parts, it was a conscious decision to keep it very static blocks and all of that. And
Hmm.
then after that, the when we were in Tiruchendur, Gautam sir and I, we have decided together that uh, once we get into Bombay, we'll move into a very dynamic zone.
Hmm.
So we got like once we got into so we kind of like shot the film chronologically from beginning to end.
Hmm.
So if you see, we got more and more adventurous towards the end of the film.
Yeah, it got.
So it's like
Hmm.
we kind of like pushed ourselves, because it was also, you need to get comfortable with all these things.
Hmm.
Like you need to also have the collaborative technicians who will be able to do it. For example, Malipu song was conceived as a single shot,
Hmm.
and Brinda ma'am had to like design it that way. And
Hmm.
we had like great gimbal operators, Vijay and Naren, who
Hmm.
have done such a phenomenal job on
Yeah.
operating the camera in such a beautiful way. And as for the stunt sequence, it was also conceived as a single shot,
Single shot. Yeah.
because it becomes very immersive. Single shots become very immersive if told well.
Hmm.
If they are designed well and executed well. Otherwise, it can fall flat, right? Because they should see what are we trying to do when you operate the camera, is that we're trying to, your frame becomes your world, right?
Hmm.
That
The
is
rectangular space. Yeah.
yeah, the rectangular space becomes your world, and you want to tell the story continuously, even if there is one point where you don't, if you're not learning anything new, or if you're not absorbing some new information from that frame.
Hmm.
It becomes like konjam boring, right? That's
Yeah.
when the film gets a little. See, you can have a static frame of a close up of a person continuously for the, there are films like that,
Hmm.
where say before sunset, or there can be long takes of just people talking to each other.
Hmm.
But what is interesting is there's something that the audience is responding to, you know. So, so Malipu song and the stunt sequence also, there was, constantly there was something happening, and there's new information for the audience to engage and respond to in an emotional way, you
Hmm.
know, because that is what we're trying to, tell story to the audience. So it was a challenge. I mean, it was not easy for sure. And every time uh, single, and I haven't done, I'm more of like a classical filmmaker, like kind of a thing, like, I'm more of like static blocks, and I
Hmm.
come from very European kind of, like, I like that kind of cinema. Of
Okay.
course I like movement. And also, one thing I have to tell you, I don't watch action films. So
Oh.
when this film came to me, I was like, okay, action film, how am I going to do this? I was quite nervous for the action sequences. In fact, I did tell Gautam sir that, so this is my first film where I'm doing like proper action. And but you have great technicians with you, like
Hmm.
the stunt coordinators, Lee Whitaker and Ben Yannick. They're so good at their craft. So my job becomes easy then, because then I'm just like, trying to capture what they give me. And
Yeah.
working with Brindama was such a delight. I was very thrilled and nervous, but she really made me feel quite easy. And so that's the great thing about the great technicians. They actually make you empower you
Hmm.
to push yourself,
Sure.
right? Like,
Hmm.
there can be people, like, somebody can tell you something, okay, you got to do this, but then only when you're empowered can you also push yourself
Hmm.
ahead, right?
So.
These people have that in them. That's why they are where they are, right? So one of the biggest things about filmmaking is that uh, it's one art form where it's not just one person who's doing it. I'm not a painter who's like doing one painting for the rest for 1 year. I'm dealing with so many people.
Hmm.
So unless you become open to being collaborative, you got to be open to, and you should, as filmmakers, we should enjoy that process.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like somebody, you can't tell them that, oh, no, 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 I'm not going to do that. That's not the way I do things. But it's more of like you understand what they want. For example, as we're dealing with lightmen, we're dealing with, technicians, camera operators, so much. So all that, how do you deal with them also becomes a big part of your creative journey. You can't just be a lone wolf in a film space.
Yes, sir.
That's what I believe in, so I, I don't know about others, but I feel that this is an important aspect of filmmaking that we need to, definitely imbibe in ourselves. I'm not a very extroverted or anything, but when the situation demands, you need to be there. You need to empower your people. You need to be able to push them to do that for you. You can
Hmm.
do it by force, but the better things comes out when you empower people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
No worries.
Nice
Thanks.
talking to you.
You're welcome.
Uh, Good evening, sir.
Hi, hi. What's your name?
My name is Karthik. I'm from Madurai. I'm studying 12th class.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so first thing I want to thank
Okay. You can't see your
all
face.
of,
Not
one
having the
second, sir.
privilege of seeing your face.
Yes, hello,
Yeah,
sir.
cool. Yeah,
It's just like a dream for me. For
I
talking.
know.
Okay, sir. My first question is was, what was your planning or preparation before the shoot?
See, plan. So yesterday also, I same thing at the ISC round table. I was at yesterday. Anil Mehta sir, who shot Lagan, and he's a great cinematographer and all of that.
Uh,
He was talking about how Indian film industry and has not gotten ahead with the pre-production phase. I really believe that pre-production is actually where the film gets made. Uh, this is what we're taught in film schools. This is what I have done short films as director and all of that. But I know how much it empowers me to execute my final product so easily when I plan ahead. When you go to film schools, that is what they teach you,
thank you.
and so it is a very, very, very critical part of your filmmaking journey where you have to spend that the amount of time that it needs. Like wherever, like for example, a film, if you're shooting Avatar, you might have to plan for 5 years. If you're
Yes,
shooting,
sir.
say every film has its own period of time that you have to spend on it, you know, and you have to make sure that you give it that time, and that way everybody knows what they're going to do on the shoot. On the shoot day, you're not sitting and wasting time, wasting money, because shoot is where the money actually gets spent, like a lot in a big way. This way you cut down on wasting time during the shoot, and you focus more on the creative part of it. And it's like the planning is where actually the film gets made. You're doing your referencing, you're doing your test shoots, you're doing your camera tests, you're figuring out your references. Everything comes in that part. And when you're shooting, you just shoot and enjoy it. Otherwise, shoot
Of course,
process
sir.
becomes very dreary. Then during the shoot, you're like, okay, what do I do today? You don't want that. But
Oh,
unfortunately, that is the way things work in Indian film industry, where we are like, sitting and figuring out the film on the shoot. I don't know why that happens. If you give like 2-3 months of time to actually plan and prep it, it will work brilliantly. That's all.
sir, can I ask
Yeah,
one more
yeah.
question? Sir, what's your experience, first experience when you will be offered a first film, when you'll be doing your first film?
I think I was very nervous. I was doing documentaries and photography when I was offered my first film. My classmate from college was was doing his first film, and generally that is how you get your first film, with people you know, right? And I was quite nervous if I'll be able to do justice to the project. That was my biggest question. Uh, I don't think you'll be thinking beyond that at that point. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Hmm. Yes, yes. See, that happened on the spot. See, this is what happens when you're prepared, when you've suddenly faced challenges on set, you're like, your mind is free enough to come up with a solution. See, on a film set, you're constantly trying to figure out, constantly battling different things, like the weather, or a crew member getting sick, or like, anything can happen, or the camera might fail. Anything can happen on set. I remember once when I was working as an assistant in a Kannada film many years ago, and we were in Mangalore, in some remote village somewhere, and suddenly, and that was film. We were shooting in film at that time. That was an interesting experience, and suddenly, what happened? We started seeing like blank frames in the recorded image, and nobody knew whether there was a skipped frame in the film rotation, or is it in the digital problem, or what was it. So anything can happen, because we are dealing with people, we're dealing with machines, we're dealing with lights. And I had problems with lights. Suddenly one light won't turn off, the ballast won't happen. So this is exactly what happens if you plan a little ahead. Then your mind is kind of free to come up with solutions. So when this particular shot was conceived, I did tell sir, we did one shot, and then we realized there's a shadow of the camera, and we can't have that, right? So suddenly, I don't know, I remember telling sir, maybe we can just make a person cross the camera as the camera is crossing by. And that's how it happened. It's very simple. It was very on the spot. And so on the spot, you have to come up with solutions. Like my ACs come up with solutions about where to hide the lights. If I'm busy with, so that's why it becomes a very collaborative project, where you're open to coming up with interesting solutions. When we were shooting in the hotel, we in the second half of the film, where the hotel corridors, right? Where do you hide the lights? You can't like rig the lights on the top. You can't do anything. So my AC Shravan came up with this idea that let's hide them, in the corners, edges, and we just put a C stand and like fix the light on the top. Worked beautifully, and the result was so good, because then we got the eye light, we got the everything. So this is how film shoots they should be enjoyable. They should be like, you should be able to like when you're trying new things, you shouldn't be afraid also. You should be able to like come up with some interesting solution for it, because and somewhere I feel my engineering background helps me, because as a people think that it's art, but it's a lot of science. Cinematography is actually a lot of science. It's about physics, it's about geography, it's about architecture, also about human psychology. Filmmakers are good psychologists, actually, I think. So, having a technical degree, I feel, is very helpful. People come and ask me, "Oh, you did your engineering, and then you're doing films." I'm like, you know what? I feel that that's an advantage. I feel that that's a solid advantage. I think as Indians, we can use this degree. Like most of my classmates, was watching the film with my classmates yesterday here, and all of us are engineers, but none of us are doing. One of them studied robotics in Germany, and now he's doing financial markets and doing research in Lucknow. Like going and meeting people in Lucknow about the economic collapse. It kind of like puts you in a space where you're able to look at things in a very rational, logical kind of way, and that really helps. So don't worry if you have. It's a good thing if you have a film degree and then you're getting into films. It's totally cool. You do what you like. I believe that each of us is given a gift, and we have to use that and not. Uh, Somewhere I was reading like, if nothing works out, we have software. Bolke. But that's like it's like the second option. Like it's like that's the last resort kind of a thing. But you should explore what is given to you. Like some people enjoying being doctors, some people, that is like my cousin like wants to become a psychologist after doing her MBBS, and so psychiatry and all of that. So that's your calling, right? So follow your calling. That's very important. And in the end, all these things will come to your help, come to your aid. Like if you're MSc in physics, great, go do films if you feel that that is what your true calling is. But take your time. Like what does an 18-year-old in India know about what they want to do for the rest of their lives? Nobody knows. You will know only when you mature. Like our education system is very unrewarding that way. We're forced to choose something before we know what we are, unfortunately. Anyway, that's a different topic. So I was at Mindscreen recently for a opening of some acting school or something. So somebody told Mani sir he did IIT and then he's doing films. And Mani sir was like, yeah, good. you know, yeah, is I mean if that's your true calling, you do it, and yeah, if it's not, then you do what you have to do. Yeah. Hmm. So it was the idea came from Gautam sir. He wanted it that way. So generally, the way so staging is one of the director's most important, you know, uh, one of the most important things. So like Gautam sir conceived the idea that even Mallipu song, he was the one who conceived that, okay, let's have it in a single shot. Why it was planned? It becomes very immersive. It's very simple. And because of the ease of technology, now we're able to do these things. I remember that RGV sir did in the movie Shiva was the first time when they did this steady cam, right? If I'm not wrong. Uh, One of the earliest, maybe, yeah. So where the scene where the in the college they're being chased. Or, I remember I watched that interview. So we have the technology. So what do we do with it? How can we make it part of our narrative? How can we use it to tell the story effectively? So it obviously feels very immersive, right? When we watch it, when we watch the things happen in real time, and that's only possible because of technology, and we are only trying to use it to better the filmmaking narrative. That's it. Hope that answers your question, Ramna.
Huh?
Hi.
Hi, sir.
Go on.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're
So,
welcome.
I have a very small question. So,
Can you tell about yourself a little bit before you?
yeah, I'm Siddhartha Nuni, and I've been working as assistant cinematographer for a couple of films right now. And so, I just saw Vendhu Thanindhathu Kaadu, and it looks beautiful.
Thank you.
I have few doubts, which is like the whole film is shot in 2.35 to 1, and I'm
2.39.
assuming, yeah, 2.39 is to 1. So I'm assuming it's shot in anamorphic lens.
Yeah.
Mostly
It was shot in anamorphic. Yeah.
anamorphic lens. So, in realistic locations, how were you able to adapt that lens? And majorly meaning streets of Mumbai and Esaki, Parota Kade and all. Like how was the interior shot? So there are multiple shots where how were you able to manage a person sitting and also standing? Like it looks very crowded. So how was that lens helping you out? That is one of my questions.
Okay. I don't know. Like the thing is that we did tests. Like see, I wanted like flares. I wanted like wanted to look very grungy and and see, spherical lenses are more like a modern thing. Like before, earlier all the films used to be shot in anamorphic lenses, basically. Mostly, in the 80s when film was being used. Right now, it's more of like now images are becoming too sanitized. I feel using spherical lenses, they're becoming very too real for my. I would like it to be a little bit more painterly. I come from. I enjoy paintings. Like one of my some of my biggest inspirations for my work has been paintings from Renaissance by Rembrandt and Rajiv sir had imbibed, this thing about appreciating art, and getting inspired by art to create, nice to create imagery in films, right? So that is one of the reasons why I kind of like don't like it when the image is too sanitized. I like those imperfections
Right.
because I feel that they add that little texture which is missing. For example, towards the end of the film, that Lucknow portions we had shot with a spherical lens.
Yeah.
Those portions. Uh, it's not my personal, like personally, I didn't like it because the colors look much more richer. I mean, much more the character of the lens, which is too sanitized, too soft, too pretty. It didn't suit that world. Like so I wanted it to be more grungy and more textured and more I wanted more edgy tone to the film, which is the reason why we've chosen
Anamorphic.
anamorphics.
So,
And
can you reveal what anamorphic lens you had used for the
yeah,
film?
I've had in fact put it up on Instagram also. We've used Atlas anamorphics,
Yes.
and Niket had used it in Surya Portrait. So that is how I got to know about the lens. So we've discussed about it. So so that's a healthy way we can engage with our peers. We talk about okay, you've used this lens. How did you feel about that? What did you think about it? So I kind of liked what the way the texture of Surya Portrait. So I wanted to bring in that kind of like edginess to the uh, with that lens character, and then make it your own. Then you put your own stamp on it and it becomes its own.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. A.R. Rahman sir recently in an interview, sorry, Ram, to cut you off. A.R. Rahman sir, I really like the philosophy of A.R. Rahman sir. Like from my childhood, I've really been inspired by his thoughts about art. And so recently you were saying that an artwork has to have the stamp of the artist on it. It has to become your own. That is when it'll have a life of its own in a way. So try to make it your own. That is what. Don't try to, like, I see a lot of this teal and orange these days. Teal and orange has become such a, everybody's doing it, but what's the fun in that? You need to do teal and orange if that subject needs teal and orange. The story should decide your look, nothing else. As a cinematographer, as an artist, your piece of work is what you're loyal to. The story is what you're loyal to, right? As a cinematographer, I'll talk about it in cinematography terms. If that story connects with you, if you feel that this is a story I want to tell, your loyalty is not about anything else except for the story.
So, can I ask one more question? I mean, it's not a question, but it's a shot that I really fell in love with, and I'm a huge fan of Spielberg and
On
um,
off
of Spielberg. And
Spielberg.
yeah, and I really like West Side Story. I mean, his version of the film. And
Short and anamorphic.
yes,
Hmm.
so there is this beautiful shot in that film. I forgot the character's name, where he goes to meet his girlfriend for the first time in their street, and
Hmm.
I found that shot. I mean, like I found, yes,
Beginning of the corridor.
not the corridor, but it's almost right before. Yeah, it's a wide shot. The camera goes lower to Muthu and reveals the whole building. And there is
Correct.
also CG moon, or I don't know if
Okay,
it's
okay. Yeah.
that one. It
CG
looks
moon filtering.
fantastic. I'm sorry if it's. I mean, I'm
From
just, yeah.
I'll tell this to the CG people.
I don't know, sir. I'm very sorry, but
No
it
worries, no
looked
worries.
fantastic.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah,
So
I
what
mean,
about
I just want to know how you shot that and your experience behind shooting wide shots at night, and how did you light up, and few insights about it.
so that location was under our control. It was like a chawl, right? It's like a rectangular, but like a three-sided building, and we had the whole place to ourselves. So we placed lights, uh, on top of the buildings, and lit up the corridors. And most of it was, a lot of it was, what do you call, practicals, because I like using practicals a lot in my films, because I feel that that brings in a very realistic tone to the image.
Right.
Right, so you will see a lot of tube lights, you will see a lot of Chinese lanterns, you will see a lot of these sparkly lights, and all of that. uh, in fact, that the Unnan Nanichadun song begins, right? So the light source for that was a Chinese lantern, which was in the shot.
Okay.
In the wide shot, you will see it.
Right. Yes.
We didn't erase it. Gautam sir had asked me, should we erase it? Is that supposed to be in the shot? I said, yes, sir, it's supposed. Because it's Bombay has this character where you're like, some festival is going on somewhere all the time. Always there is like nice lights. That's what I like about Bombay. It's like, it's so immersive, and light plays a very important role, and it's so vibrant. So you can't get better than that. Like, use that to your advantage. So the face light of, if you look at that before the Unnan and Nishadun song, you have these close-ups of Simbu Sir and uh, Pavai and all of that, right? That was that Chinese lantern, and we enunciated with one RGB tube. Yeah,
Nice. Looks
and the
beautiful.
building was lit with seniors and stuff. That's it. On the roof, like,
Uh-huh.
which was lighting up the ambience. Basically.
Thank you so much, sir.
Right. So don't be afraid to use practicals, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
This comes from Christopher Doyle. Christopher Doyle's work. He loves using practicals. And I remember as a film school student, when I went to film school, this is what I've been told, that Christopher Doyle likes to light up his film. He keeps his light sources in the frame. And that stayed in my head. So that's what I've been using all along now. So which is why it's very important to have, like, going to film school, because you learn these gems will somewhere come suddenly, and then that becomes your style.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, yeah.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Sir, my name is Nandu Silvan. I am from Coimbatore, studying 12th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, I want to ask you a question that after Malipu song, police comes to that Parota stall for searching. In the stairs, there was a tube light blinking on the side. Is that kept intentionally or?
Yeah. One of my assistants. I think my assistants are here now. Abhishek, you're here, huh? Abhishek, Vedesh. I thought they were here.
Yeah, sir, I'm here.
Yeah. Abhishek, you were only controlling the tube light, no?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. So, so we see that was to create that effect, that edginess, you know. See, if you look at any of these kind of, if you go on the street, I'm sure you'll find a blinking tube light somewhere, you know. So we kind of use that for that moment. In that moment, things are not, see, it's uncertainty. It's kind of like, you know, giving that, oh, something is happening, you know. So we use that a lot in the beginning part of the film, where, you know, the malfunctioning tube lights. It's part of the scene. Yeah.
Yes. Sir, I want to ask another question.
Mm.
What are the basic qualities that a cinematographer wants to know
In
to
what?
take films, short films?
See, first of all, you need to be technically sound. You need to know your cameras. You need to know your lights. You need to know your, you know, camera settings. எப்படி லைட் பண்றது, இது எல்லாமே you need to know all these things. So அதுக்கு you have to go to film school, or, you know, if, because you're still in your 12th grade, you know, go watch some tutorials. You know, there are lots of tutorials online. You know, you go and like study them and then use them. Whatever speaks to you, you know, try to experiment with it. It's all
Thank,
experimentation, and at some point, whenever possible, go to a film school
thank you, sir.
or assist somebody. Yeah, but in my case, I would suggest go to film school. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Welcome.
Hi, sir.
Hi, Madan. Madan is
How
a
is it?
Madan is a star. he's really, he's an actor in Vendhu Thanindhathu Kaadu.
Yeah, I'm happy to be part of it, sir. So like Muthu's journey, Mr. Siddharth's journey, IA to cinematographer. Who is your role model?
I couldn't understand. You said IIT to cinematographer.
Yeah, sir. The journey, like Muthu's journey, Mr. Siddharth's journey.
I believe that all of us have a journey, right? I think your voice, could you turn off your sound? Yeah. Yeah. So, like Madan has a journey from theater to film. Like that, all of us have our own battles, and all of us have our own journeys towards where we are supposed to go towards. So I feel that it's personal to everyone, and as long as you're enjoying it, as long as you're, you know, having fun doing it, then even the difficulties will become easier. Nothing is easy in this world. What is easy? Like we might have a recession soon. Nobody is like nobody is like immune to difficulty in the world that we live in. Just that if we try to, you know, do something that speaks to us, that, you know, then I think the journey will become a little easier. Sure. Oh, is it? Hmm. I think single shots. That's what I mean. I've spoken about it already a little before this. Like it was you know, the staging. Like it was the decision of the director that we'll go with single shots, and we kind of pushed ourselves towards it. Uh, yeah, and then it becomes an the it becomes the execution is the difficult part. But like I said, if you have good technicians around you, they will may empower you to make you do it a little, you know, to realize those you know, shots in a easier way. Yeah. Dutch angles, I use it very sparingly. In this movie, I've used it only once. One in the finale Lucknow portions when he's holding the child. Yes, that's the only shot when I said, "Sir, can we do a Dutch angle on this?" And we went with it. There was no other Dutch angle shot. Dutch angle
Yes.
beginning of the corridor.
Not the corridor, but it's almost right before. Yeah, it's a wide shot. The camera goes lower to Muthu and reveals the whole building. And there is
Correct.
also CG moon, or I don't know if
Okay,
it's
okay, yeah.
that one. It
CG
looks
moon thing.
fantastic. I'm sorry if it's. I mean, I'm
From
just.
I'll tell this to the CG people.
I don't know, sir. I'm very sorry, but
No
it
worries, no
looked
worries.
fantastic.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah,
So
I
what
mean,
about it?
I just want to know how you shot that and your experience behind shooting wide shots at night, and how did you light up, and few insights about it.
So that location was under our control. It was like a chawl, right? It's like a rectangular, but like a three-sided building, and we had the whole place to ourselves. So we placed lights, uh, on top of the buildings, and lit up the corridors. And most of it was, a lot of it was, what do you call, practicals, because I like using practicals a lot in my films, because I feel that that brings in a very realistic tone to the image. Right. So you will see a lot of tube lights, you will see a lot of Chinese lanterns, you will see a lot of these, sparkly lights, and all of that. Uh, in fact, that the Unnan Nanichadun song begins, right? So the light source for that was a Chinese lantern, which was in the shot.
Okay.
In the wide shot, you will see it.
Right. Yes.
We didn't erase it. Gautam sir had asked me, should we erase it? Is that supposed to be in the shot? I said, yes, sir, it's supposed. Because it's Bombay has this character where you're like, some festival is going on somewhere all the time. Always there is like nice lights. That's what I like about Bombay. It's like, it's so immersive, and light plays a very important role, and it's so vibrant. So you can't get better than that. Like, use that to your advantage. So the face light of, if you look at that before the Unnan and Nishadun song, you have these close-ups of Simbu sir and Pavai and all of that, right? That was that Chinese lantern, and we enunciated with one RGB tube. Yeah,
Nice. Looks
and the
beautiful.
building was lit with seniors and stuff. That's it. On the roof, like, which was lighting up the ambience. Basically.
Thank you so much, sir.
Right. So don't be afraid to use practicals, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
This comes from Christopher Doyle. Christopher Doyle's work. He loves using practicals. And I remember as a film school student, when I went to film school, this is what I've been told, that Christopher Doyle likes to light up his film. He keeps his light sources in the frame. And that stayed in my head. So that's what I've been using all along now. So which is why it's very important to have, like, going to film school, because you learn these gems will somewhere come suddenly, and then that becomes your style.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, yeah.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Sir, my name is Nandu Silvan. I am from Coimbatore, studying 12th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, I want to ask you a question that after Malipu song, police comes to that Parota stall for searching. In the stairs, there was a tube light blinking on the side. Is that kept intentionally, or?
Yeah. one of my assistants. I think my assistants are here now. Abhishek, you're here, huh? Abhishek, Vedesh. I thought they were here.
Yeah, sir, I'm here.
Yeah. Abhishek, you were only controlling the tube light, no?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. So we see, that was to create that effect. edginess, See, if you look at any of these kind of, if you go on the street, I'm sure you'll find a blinking tube light somewhere, So we kind of use that for that moment. In that moment, things are not. See, it's uncertainty. It's kind of like giving that something is happening, So we use that a lot in the beginning part of the film, where the malfunctioning tube lights. It's part of the scene. Yeah.
Yes. Sir, I want to ask another question.
Mm.
What are the basic qualities that a cinematographer wants to know
In
to
what way?
take films, short films?
See, first of all, you need to be technically sound. You need to know your cameras. You need to know your lights. You need to know your, camera settings. எப்படி லைட் பண்றது இது எல்லாமே you need to know all these things. So அதுக்கு you have to go to film school, or because you're still in your 12th grade, go watch some tutorials. There are lots of tutorials online. You go and like study them and then use them. Whatever speaks to you, try to experiment with it. It's all experimentation, and at some point, whenever possible, go to a film school.
Thank you, sir.
Or assist somebody. Yeah, but in my case, I would suggest go to film school. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Hi, sir.
Hi, Madan. Madan is
How is it?
Madan is a star. He's an actor in Vendhu Thanindhathu Kaadu.
Yeah, I'm happy to be part of it, sir. So like Muthu's journey, Mr. Siddhartha's journey, to cinematographer. Is your role model?
I couldn't understand. You said IIT to cinematographer.
Yeah, sir. The journey, like Muthu's journey, Mr. Siddhartha's journey.
I believe that all of us have a journey, right? I think your voice, could you turn off your sound? Yeah. Yeah. So, like Madan has a journey from theater to film. Like that, all of us have our own battles, and all of us have our own journeys towards where we are supposed to go towards. So I feel that it's personal to everyone, and as long as you're enjoying it, as long as you're having fun doing it, then even the difficulties will become easier. Nothing is easy in this world. What is easy? Like we might have a recession soon. Nobody is like nobody is like immune to difficulty in the world that we live in. Just that if we try to do something that speaks to us, that then I think the journey will become a little easier. Sure. Oh, is it? I think single shots. That's what I mean. I've spoken about it already a little before this. Like it was the staging. Like it was the decision of the director that we'll go with single shots, and we kind of pushed ourselves towards it. Yeah, and then it becomes an execution. It becomes the execution is the difficult part, but like I said, if you have good technicians around you, they will may empower you to make you do it a little, to realize those, shots in a easier way. Yeah. Dutch angles, I use it very sparingly. In this movie, I've used it only once. One in the finale Lucknow portions when he's holding the child. Yes, that's the only shot when I said, "Sir, can we do a Dutch angle on this?" And we went with it. There was no other Dutch angle shot. Dutch angle too much. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Shirag. Hi. Tell me.
Sir, can you tell me about like the color grading thing which you did in VTK, which was like kind of different approach, I hope. So can you tell me something about that, sir? Because I'm a colorist.
Yes, I know, Chirag. I've seen your messages on Instagram. That's why I've invited you, because so that I can speak to you out here and everybody can hear it. So we spent a lot of time in the post production of VTK. I was not satisfied for a long time. Like I've been getting footage, like we've been releasing songs, teasers, trailers from September, but somehow I was not getting it. Like if you look at the grading of the teaser to what you watch it now in the film, it's completely different. It's a completely different image, and that is a process we had to discover. And I was quite worried, honestly, when I came into the when I started working on the grading of the film, because initially I wasn't getting what I wanted, and I didn't know what to do. That's when I had to do a lot of research about color grading processes. And one thing I wanted to do was to make it look very film-like. That's when I ended up watching Moonlight. I mean, I think I watched it before, but I watched Moonlight again and then went back into how in Moonlight there are three different segments, right? And each segment has a different color tone. Now I went and researched about it and learned articles about it, and where they talked about how they created this film LUTs. Each segment had one of the segment had a Kodak LUT, one of them segment had a Kodak film LUT, one of them they used Agfa film LUT, and the third one is Fuji. So each segment had a different film LUT which they've used. So we experimented with film LUTs on the grading of VTK, and we use the plugin called Look Designer, which has this fantastic set of film LUTs, and we had to pick the right LUT which suits our image that we were looking for. And I think on the third day or fourth day of grading, we got it. And after that, it was about maintaining consistency and making it right. And obviously, because we were shooting very mobile, very moving shots and all of that, it was not easy. It was quite a difficult process, but I had like an amazing colorist with me, Balaji sir. And with his experience, he's done like very path-breaking films as a colorist. And we had worked some, I don't know, in 2015. And then after that, we're working again right now. And it was a breeze after that. Yeah.
Sir, another question like, what do you think is the best qualities of a colorist, or which is needed for a colorist to work with a DOP?
The colorist needs to understand the DOP's intentions and the film's intentions, and be true to it, and try to be true to the story. So I think it's again how director and the DOP are it's a very intimate relationship. I think the colorist and the DOP has a very similar intimate relationship, because we are the ones, the DOP and the colorist are the ones who are actually finalizing the image. So it needs to be done very delicately and very sensitively. Sensitivity is probably one of the biggest things. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Hi, Charan.
Hi, sir. Sir, can I ask one question? Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Sir, do you like low light cinematography, or do you like commercial cinematography?
No, I like storytelling. That would be my right answer. It's like Whatever the story demands, you do that. For example, if you're doing an ad film, you can't do low light, right? As a cinematographer, you have to do documentaries, you have to do ad films, you have to do commercials, you have to do corporate films, you have to do movies. So each, whatever the film needs, you have to give it that. That's it.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Mhm. Okay. So fire sequence was one of the first big things for the film. I was obviously quite worried. How do we do this? But again, like I said, the technicians that you work with make your life easier. We had very good VFX technicians with us at that point, and they had really guided us. Okay, what is needed, what is not needed, because you can't set the whole thing on fire. It'll catch fire like this and burn the whole thing in like 15 minutes straight. So we had to be very controlled. We had to have these fire technicians there, who were very specialized in like controlling the fire. So we had taken samples of different fire types, and then that was used. So it was what you saw finally is a mix of reality and VFX. So yeah, to answer your question, that is the yeah. Yeah. So one of the biggest advantages that we had was we went with anamorphic. So anamorphic gives it a very stretched out kind of look. It doesn't give it a very pleasing. I mean, it is pleasing because it has very beautiful texture and the way it records image is very, very unique. But you know, once you should really try anamorphic. It really changes your film completely. Now I find it very difficult to go back to like spherical lenses. I'm like looking for new anamorphic lenses to shoot with. But for example, Panavision is very big in Hollywood, but we don't have any Panavision in India. Panavision lenses in India. I would love to. So kind of, yeah, you don't get Panavision lenses. So they are all old lenses. Now they become all, nobody uses them right now. It's a very specific thing. There are a couple of lenses, but they're so bad. So, for example, right now we're shooting Queen season 2, and we are using Kova lenses, Kova vintage lenses, anamorphic, to give a different look to the image. So it's like very, it's so I'm kind of like finding it difficult to go back to spherical now. So if you when you're talking about camera angles and lighting, use of lighting was very we use like, even though you find that the film is very low lit, looks like low light, but we used a lot of light. uh, it's just because there is you don't but actually it's like controlling light is the biggest challenge. It's not about, it's about you have to have light, because otherwise the image, the camera cannot perceive what is going on. But you need to know how to control the light. And I would define my lighting for VTK to be realistic but stylized, realistic yet stylized, organic but yet stylized. So that is the kind of that is why, even though it looks realistic, it still has that style in it. It still has that contrast. It still has that uh, backlight, face light. It's still 3-point lighting, but but in a very effective way, but in a very what do you call it's like a deep dive. You have to get into swim into the ocean, and then something. And one of the biggest advantages to me is the locations. Rajiv sir did such a great job with it's a blessing to work with him. I mean, it's a blessing, honestly. I consider to work with such great technicians. And the set of Parota shop is it's like designed to light up. The windows and the doors and everything. We picked the color of the glass which went into the uh, door windows of Parota shop, because that is what, through that glass is what the light enters the room, so we had to go to such tiny details, and then figure out the right kind of color filters. We use a lot of urban sodium filters, because we want to emulate the night lights of Mumbai. The night light of Mumbai, if you the room when into the parota shop. So light was an important aspect of the world of parota shop and the film itself, like any other film. So each film has its own language, and we used, we tried to create it through color, and we tried to create it through contrast, and we tried to create it with light. And camera, it's the lenses. I think anamorphic did magic for us. Yeah. Oh. So as cinematographers, we learn something about color theory. Like, color theory is very important for artists, for painting and everything. Color signifies mood, color signifies emotion. So red is a very intrinsic, for example, even the costumes, you will see some red somewhere in the film. There's always one red shirt. There's always one red, underwear, literally red underwear. And, there's so much like that. That is the color. That is unity of the image. That is what is called unity. In art, there is a term called unity. Everything in the frame should say the same story. Otherwise, the audience will get confused. So the red, yeah, that was chosen. Even the wallpaper in barbershop, it was chosen. So this was all conscious choices. You go into the tiny details of how you want the story to be told, how you want the film to look, and what is the reason why you are telling a story. The red is telling a story that there is a world where there's danger, where there is going to be, unpredictability, violence, guns, all of that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Sir, can I ask one question, sir?
Sure.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
Sir, I seen the movie. So interval block is many shake. You wantedly shake that scene. So do you, that intent is okay for the audience?
Yeah, I think audience is liking it, right? You're talking about the stunt sequence, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
I mean, if I don't
That
think
I decided that intents are okay for audience, I think.
I think audiences received it well, right? I don't know
Okay.
if yeah.
Yeah,
Because if
thank you.
it is a problematic thing, we are watching the monitor, right? We're watching
Yes, yes,
what
sir.
the
Yes,
recorded image. I mean, you can't say that everything works perfectly. We
yes.
think that it will work with the audience, and then if it works, great. And I think people have liked it. So it works for that moment. It works for that mood of that moment. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
But that's handheld. Handheld is a very, very, very immersive kind of camera movement.
Yes, sir.
It really makes you. It's like the camera is breathing. It's like the camera is like with the audience. It's like you're following the character around. I've done a
Yes,
lot of handheld in Lucia. If you watched it, the whole film was on handheld. In fact, so there was consciously a minor shake in the film, and you experiment with these things. You can't just put it right up in the first go. You need to experiment and come up with the right kind of way to tell that story in the right way. So the camera shake was intentional, and it felt organic, it felt real, so we went with it. Yeah.
thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Hello.
Hi, sir.
Hi, how are you?
going on, sir? I'm from Tripura Northeast, and I'm Bengali, and I am a huge follower of all kind of regional Indian cinemas, and especially I'm a big fan of yours, sir.
Thank you.
Most of the questions that I was having in my mind, starting from Mundan and Ichadum and the color palette, everything has been discussed. I have totally two questions different from one another. One thing is that many time I have seen people are confusing and confused with this concept and asking that how can we do something in low budget, but it 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 is, there was a time I used to think like that, zero budget filming and all, but then I myself have realized that no, for doing some quality of work we need at least some capital. So my question is that to begin with, very much beginning, what are the most what to say, cost effective instruments that can be used most cost effective? That is my one question. And another question that is I'm asking as a, as a, what to say, student, and as a fan I have another question, that is, what are your upcoming projects, and are you going to see you as a director in near future? Because I want to, and I guess many of us want to. So that's all, sir. That's my question. And congratulations once again.
Thank you very much. Now you have a lot of technology which is in your hands. Like you can shoot with very cheap cameras, very cheap lenses, and people are doing it. People are doing a great job at it also. I won't say that will work with every project, but the subject should define that language. For example, when we shot Lucia, it was shot in a budget of I don't know, 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs, right? And we did extensive research about what is the right camera to use, what is the right lenses to use, and it should complement it with the lighting. Everything has to be coordinated, has to be thought through. Everything has to be, because it's a technical thing now. It's very technical. It's about physics. It's about how will the recorded image look on the big screen? Is it going to look pixelated? Is it going to look desaturated? What is going to happen to the colors when you blow it up onto the big screen? These are all questions that you have to answer, and that is a process by itself. And that can happen by experimentation. See, you can even shoot a movie with the iPhone now. I know my friend has done it.
Yes.
One of the filmmakers that I know. I know people are doing it, and there's nothing wrong with it. But you need to understand that should define that is for a purpose, because that story can it be told that
it
way?
Goes with it. It goes with it, in sync with that.
For example, I cannot do it with a Simbu film, right?
Yeah.
Simple. It's as simple as that. Or a Shah Rukh Khan film. Like, that's not going to happen. But if your actors are comfortable with it, if your producer is comfortable with it, and then your end product, where is it going to be screened? Is it going to be on your YouTube? Is it going to be, are you releasing it in Tripura? Are you releasing it in a theater in Tripura? What is going to happen to it? Where is the end goal? What is the end game of it? Because right now there are so many avenues where you can release your film.
Yes.
It can be done on OTT. So if it's okay that you want to release it on OTT, shoot in whatever camera you want. I'll tell you what, if your story is immersive, people don't care. People don't care about, after 2 minutes, they'll get into that world. We were quite worried when Tiruchendur portions were all static and all of we were so worried. The first show, we were watching in Vetri Theatre. All that fanfare just quietened down. Everybody was glued to the screen because there was a story being told. In the end, it's your story, and is your audience connecting to the emotions of what's going on screen? Format doesn't matter. Nothing matters. But you can't. You can't do it with every film, of course. Yeah. You have to. Obviously, you can't do a Simbu film with an iPhone. That's not going to happen.
Got it, sir. But now my second question.
Yeah, like for example, Dune needs the IMAX. Dune, the movie Dune,
Acha.
needs the IMAX format, right? Because that is the world that we want to tell. In the end, it's your story and how you want to tell your story, and what are the tools that you want to tell your story with. It's in your hands, and the producer and the money defines it, of course. And next time doing Queen season 2 is there. There's a story we're discussing. We'll see, but it's not going to happen anytime now. We have to still write it and all of that. So it's going to.
We will wait, sir. We are waiting eagerly.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi. Hi,
Hi,
Siddhartha.
Hi.
Hi. I've been following you since an year. I've
Oh,
seen your resume on your website, and I was curious how a cinematographer's resume would look like. And I've seen your journey of going from engineering to some film school in somewhere in Europe. I have actually made you the
yeah, I've seen
question.
your name. Yeah.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I mean, I've seen your name. I've seen it, but
Okay.
it's very
Okay. I
difficult.
didn't know you were busy in this film.
No, I read stuff. Yeah. So
Okay. No problem.
I don't have
So,
the time to respond back. That's it.
yeah, I understand. So, I just met yesterday Sylvester sir and also Mitesh sir. And
Oh, you're in Bombay.
Mitesh Samir. Yes, I was in Bombay yesterday.
Yeah, I was
So I
there
met.
actually. Yeah.
Oh, you were there.
Yeah.
You were in the
I mean, I
concert.
was there in the audience. I was looking at that.
Oh, okay. I was. Me and my one of my friend were vlogging all with the GoPro and explaining all those gadgets and stuff. So I met all those three of them, and I spoke to Sylvester. Few of my questions like, uh, how does people or a newcomer from people like me get into the industry, or how do they work it? Because we don't get a direct access or any contacts. There are many people, upcoming students in the industry who finally wanted to get into the crew or some stuff like that. What's the best way you suggest in your own way? What do you think? Because you have come a very long way on your own.
No, I mean, I haven't come on my own. I've had collaborators who I've connected with and worked with, and it's in the end, it's about who you connect with. Like obviously, if I want to connect with James Cameron, that's not going to happen now. But definitely, you're talking to me, so it's like this, Like
Okay.
if you like someone, just write to them. Just tell them that, look, I like your work and I want to work with you or something like that. And if
Okay.
a person feels that, hey, this person seems like somebody that I can connect with, because in the end, it's about connection, right? It's about, like, for example, if you like, say, I don't know, films which I don't connect with, then that becomes a pointless exercise. Unless I want to get a different flavor to my story. For example, if I am a director and I want to hire a cinematographer who doesn't go with my visual palette, then it's becomes a pointless exercise. So it's like that. You see, it's very important to find your people. You need to find the kind of people you see, what kind of films people are making, and then you say that, okay, these are the kind of films that I connect with. So, and then you connect with people who are making those films. And then slowly, that's how things work. You have to, it's about people. That's what film is, one format where you can't be a lone wolf. That's not going to happen. You have to be with people. You have to connect with people. So that's very important.
And then the best way you suggest is just writing it up to them
Just
directly.
write, meet.
Okay.
I remember. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Better to just connect with people. It could be any way. I'm not. You go to people's offices, give your resume. I mean, don't like be a stalker, but be nice and, like, politely go and say that, here, sir, I like your work, and this is why I feel that I would be the right person to work with you. It's very simple. It's like going on LinkedIn. You have to have a LinkedIn profile. I tell my assistants, put your profiles on LinkedIn. See, this is a job. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, people have this notion that, like, we are artists and we are, like, fallen from the sky. It's not that. We are like we are making films. That's our job.
Yes. Yes, and that's what made me this question ask, and you clarified
Make
the
a
same.
resume. You read my resume,
Yes,
make a
yes,
resume.
I read
Meet
you.
people.
Yes,
See,
and
a lot of people write to me on Instagram. He's saying, "Hey, bro, I want to work with you."
okay.
I'm
The
not
problem with
replying
the
back to that person.
yeah, I see the problem with the Instagram DM or a Twitter DM is like you might get bulk of messages. You can't even
Yeah, that's all. How do you
you
make
might miss
yourself
that.
different, right? You need
Uh,
to make yourself seen.
yes, yes,
It's
yes, correct.
like for example, Warren Buffett is there, and then you want to get his attention. You have to pay him $1 million to have dinner with him. I'm
Okay.
just saying, like this,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if you
Yeah.
want to meet Warren Buffett, you have to give him
Mm.
like $500,000 or something to have lunch with him,
Uh-huh. Okay.
and then he'll
Okay.
give you gyan about how to become better at your business, right?
Okay.
So there is a price to pay, but you have to do it the right way.
Right.
You have to how do you stand out? If you're gonna message the person that you want to work with, saying, "Hey, bro,
Mm.
I want to work with you." You haven't introduced who you were. You haven't told me where you work. You haven't told me what's your experience. So how will I make the effort? Because so many other people are also writing, right?
Yes.
So
Correct.
so my email ID is there on Instagram.
Yeah.
You should take the effort saying, okay, how do I connect to this person? Write an email, write a properly framed email.
Okay.
It
Okay.
might not work out immediately. It might not work with that person, but it will work with someone else. So
Yeah.
it's also about being at the right place at the right time with the right
Correct.
people.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
What Shah Rukh Khan had said recently, I was watching somewhere on Instagram or something. It's like it's about the people that you connect with. People are everything.
True. True. Okay.
That doesn't mean
Okay.
that you go around pleasing everybody. That's not what I'm trying to say. You understand what you're looking for. You
Mm.
see around you and say that, okay, these are the people that I want to connect with, that I want to be like. The kind of work that I want to do seems like this is where I want to head in my creative journey. Write to them. Start working on those ideas,
Mm.
keep sending across ideas. Somewhere something might work out. I'm not saying that it will, but this is an
Keep trying
important
it.
process of the
Uh-huh.
journey.
Where you also constant keep in touch with them.
Yeah,
So
you
it's
need to keep in touch.
yeah. Yeah.
Cold calls, they'll say, the cold emails and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
One
One
step
day
at a time.
yeah, one day I might I do that. I mean, I do look up. I mean, who's emailing me? I look it up and say that, okay, if somebody has been like persistent and I would try to understand, why is this person wanting to work with me,
Mm-hmm.
and do I have an opening?
Okay. Okay.
If I have an opening, suddenly like I might be needing someone in Mumbai,
Uh-huh.
right? Then I will look up my emails only. I'll say that Google has written to me from Mumbai. What
Okay.
work that person has done? What is the skill set that person comes with? And then if it suits my profile, then I ask. I call many people like that.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Then I should be start
In fact,
prepping
my
it for.
assistants, like two of them, they had emailed me. It all comes like that. They'd emailed
Okay.
me, and
Okay.
something connects. No, something says that, okay, this person could be the person.
Okay.
And then you
Mm.
call back and say that, hey, what are you doing? I do that even. I do that even now.
Got it. Got it. Understood. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you
I
for
don't
your.
work out with me, but you should. This is a process that is important, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand. Understand. Yeah.
Yeah, back in the day when I finished film school, I did stand outside PC sir's office for his
Uh-huh.
appointment. So I remember that. We didn't have emails, and I remember calling Ravi K. Chandran sir, and he hung up on me also. I mean, he was at shoot probably. I'm like, sir, I want to work with you.
Okay.
He's a
Okay.
nice man. So I'm sure he was like busy shooting a Shah Rukh Khan film. So
And how did you end up?
I'm sure to guy calling from mine screen.
So how did you end up?
But his assistant did reach out to me. Manush reached out
Okay.
to me
Okay.
and he spoke to me.
Okay.
So this process is important. And now I feel that there's so much more opportunity.
Hmm.
There's so many
Yes.
OTTs happening and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. True. Okay. So how did you end up with Gautam, sir? Like, I seen your recent post where you mentioned you were a fan of this MIJ sir from Telugu or his bilingual movie of Simbu sir and all, and you posted your memory with him that you have been working with him now. How did you get with them?
It's a long story actually, but people people is the word keyword.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
that's all.
okay.
People you connect with, people you're able to empathize with. You shouldn't be able to force the connection. The connection has to, it's a soul connection, I feel like.
Yeah, true. Anybody who's interested to talk, then they get met.
Yeah, if you're able to have a hold a conversation with somebody for an hour without getting bored, I think they are people.
True, true, true. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
No worries.
I would leave the option to others. Thank
All the
you.
best. Yeah,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
take care. Hi Venkatesh, tell me.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. This is Venkatesh from Tirunelveli.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share about the experience of that particular scene which was before starting the Kalathukum Venum song, the Simpu and Nidhi conversation?
Mm.
Yeah, that frame was input by GVM sir or your preference? Because I felt it's like a Nayagan reference, that scene.
He
Can
told
you
me
share it?
much. He told me the day before the movie release that's an Icon reference. But yeah, he
Okay.
wanted Limbu sir to sit below, uh,
Yeah.
and then I fix the framing for him. That's it. It's a
Okay.
collaborative thing generally. Sometimes he will suggest, and then I mean, most of the time, it's filmmaking is collaborative, and director has something in his mind, and as cinematographers, we are trying to get it alive. So he wanted Simbu sir to sit below that girl, and I thought that's a great idea because he was trying to like tell her to get married to him. And
Hmm.
one day before the release, he showed me the image. Like, yeah, this is the reference. I was like, okay. He did mention that in an interview also,
Yeah. Okay.
that she showed it, like the Nayagan reference. There's a Vishal
Thank
Bharadwaj.
you.
Okay. For a second, that picture didn't come. My heart kind of stopped.
That's it, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice
Thank you.
observation. Thank you. Yeah. 100%. Yeah, yeah. 100%. I would say it has only helped me. That's what everybody has their own journey. Like my journey is through documentaries, and that helped me uh, understand light, natural light, much better. Because when you're shooting documentaries, you don't have that freedom of like big lights and all of that, but you still have to make the image look good. So how do you do that? You wake up early and 5 a.m. you start shooting, like 6 a.m. you start shooting, and the magic hour you start shooting. So you start using natural light effectively to tell your story in a good way. So definitely, I would suggest everybody, one of you, to go out and shoot documentaries first. A lot of DOPs, good DOPs, come from documentaries who have graduated into films because they will be able to understand natural light better, and it helps you in make telling your stories in a very nice way. Yeah, it's the way you light the film basically, and my style is that I try to keep the authenticity of the architecture of the space, and generally I think if you're able to maintain it, you are pretty good. Because if you walk around in your own living room, turn off the lights, or like or keep the lights on, or in the day just walk around your room and see where the light is coming from, right? There will be a window that will be the one that will be lighting up your room. So you know you can try building on that. And I feel that that automatically already creates a nice contrast ratio. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm Shakti.
Human.
Yeah.
Human. Okay.
Suddenly I downloaded Google Meet, so I can't enter the game.
No problem.
Yeah. Wait, it's so dark here. Can you see me?
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. My question is that how many takes it took in the interval action sequence?
4.
4 sequences.
4.
And particularly when the camera comes out of the window and goes through the balcony, how the type of movements are done?
So I was standing outside the window, and the stunt coordinator, Lee Whitaker, had started from downstairs, come up the stairs. He has this rig called Orion. It's like his very pet. It's a pet. His personal thing, which if you put it on the ground and all, he'll say place a cloth and then put it on that. He's very, so he uses Orion a lot. So that was the handheld equipment that we used to till he comes till the window. And at the window, I was waiting outside, and I took the Orion with the camera, and I walked on a, like,
And where you are standing at?
yeah,
And
on
where
top
sir you
of it, we constructed something outside the window.
Oh, okay.
Walked
Ramp,
on
sir,
it,
ramp.
ramp basically, and
Yeah.
we walked across and I handed it back to Lee Whitaker, who was waiting at the ledge, and he took it and went inside.
Oh, thanks. And tell some films which inspired you in cinematography.
In cinematography means what? Like VTK
In
cinematography?
cinematography ways, which film you like the most? Which inspired you?
Many films are there, I have to tell you, but definitely I'll say Apocalypse Now.
So
Uh,
what's
Apocalypse Now. Apocalypse.
Oh, okay, sir.
Yes. Many films are like.
Yes. And another question, last question is that many here want to make cinema and learn cinema, sir, but they can't afford to go to film school or something. What's your advice by learning cinema for learning cinema?
Yeah, unfortunately, in India, filmmaking is an expensive learning process.
Yes, sir.
I don't know, like, yeah, I mean, you can start off with, making small short films, If it's absolutely not possible for you to go study in a film school, try to, like, go assist somebody, learn something, and make your own films. Learn it through tutorials, experiment, like that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I mean, my assistants take care of it. I just inform them that, okay, this is the mood, and this is where I kind of like want my lights. And I think by the end of the film, they kind of know what is going to be where. So because these boys have started working with me last for this film, and they're very fresh and kind of went with me. So they kind of know. I think that's how you build a team. Also, you kind of like create a team who understands you and who kind of like knows your style. And Abhishek is there. Maybe he'll be able to talk a little about it.
Yeah,
Abhishek,
hi.
associate.
Hi.
Vedesh is also there, no? I think. Yeah.
I don't know, sir.
Okay, take it. Go on. You wanna say? You can
Hello?
talk a little.
Yeah?
Yeah, you can talk a little
Yeah,
about
sir. Yeah.
your experience.
Yeah. Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah, we can come back later. Yeah. Vedesh is here. Vedesh? Is Vedesh here? No, I don't think it's here. Okay, go on. Yeah, we can go to the next. Hmm. Yeah, we use a diopter.
You guys been following Siddhartha sir, like me as well. And I was looking up to working with somebody who's worked with such low budget and with so much planning for the research and all that. And kind of we connected on the same page when I started working with Siddhartha sir, and the way he does the research, how much preparation needs to be made. Like for example, if you want to attend an interview, how much preparation you do to attend an interview or write an exam. The same with the filmmaking process as well, and which is a very he's very collaborative and also shares a lot of knowledge with us, and we talk a lot about films and share. I mean, it's the same interest what we share, and also over the time you understand what kind of lighting would your DOP want, and over the time you understand on a certain location how he wants the lighting to be made. That over the time, once you start the journey with a DOP, then you will understand how he wants the light to be and all that. So it comes with the traveling and doing more project with the person whom you are working with.
Also, I think when you travel for a longer period of time, you kind of like become like a little family kind of
Yeah, yeah,
going on. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's very intimate. Also, I prefer working like that, having like people who I'm able to like have a personal relationship. You know, it's like we connect at a deeper level, like in terms of like not just at a superficial. Okay, we go to work every day and then go back home. It's more of like it's like a because I mean that's what independent film has kind of like taught me, like there it's a very what do you call a democratic way of working, where there are no hierarchies, there are no like everybody can like go and talk to anybody. It's not so. I would say this was a different experience altogether for me, because big cinema doesn't work like that. Big cinema is more hierarchy based, and it's more people intensive. It's more about dealing with different people at different levels. So it's a learning process, and it's yeah, it's not easy, but that's where I think good peer group and also a good ecosystem is important, where you have this team which kind of understands you, and who want to work with you, not just because okay, he's my boss, I have to go to work and like do this or whatever, but more of like, okay, let's do this, let's make this film. They are also invested in the film. They're not just here to, okay, one film I'll do and then I'll do my own film. A lot of people I think come to me, come I think, I don't know why there's this whole thing. The younger generation feels that it's all easy, but it's not. It needs a lot of maturity. I think filmmaking is, I mean, at least I believe in responsible filmmaking, where we're just not doing it, do whatever we want, but more of like, I want to be able to like, it's a legacy that we leave behind, right? Films, the film is going to stay for a few years. We are watching films which are 100 years old, right? And Apo, that becomes our legacy, what we leave behind. So I want to have like a, you know, somebody who's also connected at the value level. We're talking about values, ethics. All these things matter in the end of the day. You can't just ignore it and do whatever you want. It's not a capitalistic thing where you're like dog eat dog. That's so. Then we'd rather go and do that. No, in corporate. I'm not saying that every corporate is like that, but why are we here? We are here for a specific purpose, and I feel that personal unity is important, and values and ethics are important.
Hi, sir. Hi. Unfortunately, my camera is broken.
Oh.
The irony is very much there. My name is Vishal, and I work as a cinematographer and an editor in a radio station in Bangalore
Okay.
for Fever 104 FM.
Okay.
The
You have
type
a
of
good voice. Yeah.
thank you so much. But I'm not an RJ as well, so
Well, you're working in radio, so you have to have, I think.
thank you. A little bit of a background about myself. I studied engineering as well. I did civil engineering. I worked as a civil engineer for 3 years, and then pandemic hit me hard, and then I had to shift to radio. But the type of shoots which I do involves a lot of practicals. We don't have the time to set up lighting for a certain shot. But if I have to ask you a question, would you light up a shot for a frame or for a story?
Story, not a frame.
But certain times there is a demand for the frame, right? How would if the director wants it for the frame, how would you coordinate with that and bring both the aspects into
See,
the
it's you can always go from macro to micro. Macro, right? Is that the right thing? Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Wider thing, right? You can always go from a bigger setup to a smaller setup easily. You can't go from a smaller setup to like
okay,
build. You can. This is much more easier, like compressing things, like go from wider to. That's why you always light up for a wide shot and then come to a closer shot, right? See, but when you're lighting up the wide shot, you're thinking about the close up also.
correct.
You're not thinking wide shot and then uske baad I'll do something else and then I'll do something else. You're already packing in whatever is needed for the close up in the wide shot itself.
True.
So
Uh,
you have to create the world first. Create the world and then like go closer. But when you're
um,
creating the world, be aware that okay, I have to cut in close later anyway. So
okay. My second question is a little bit of a personal question. Now, since I'm handling the camera for the radio station, the only type of shoots which I get to do is event shoots, interview shoots, and those kind of shoots, which is
okay.
still a learning.
Hmm.
But it is always my dream to become a cinematographer and finally a DOP.
Hmm.
But I feel it is kind of drifting away because of these of whatever I am doing. If I have to learn about lighting, if I have to learn about framing, it would be awesome. Like if you could suggest some books or some tutorials which could help me.
I can't tell books or what, but I'll tell you my life experience here. There was a point where I was being known as a photographer. I was doing a lot of photography. And at that point of time, I took this, I don't know if it was the right thing or the wrong thing to do, but uh, then nobody was coming to me for cinematography work, right? And at some level, I had to say that, okay, now I'm going to stop and like focus on only doing, cinematography. Maybe, I don't know if that answers your question, but I don't know if it's a stupid thing to do also, because when you're running out of your
Correct.
financial health is also very important. So be careful about finances because that's a big stress that you don't want.
Correct. Thank you, sir. Thank you. It was lovely talking
Maybe
to you.
you can do it organically. Get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
will. I'll do that.
But yeah, always make sure that you have money.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure. Thank you, sir. It was lovely talking to you.
you're welcome.
Hi, sir.
Hello.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, go on. Yeah.
So my name is Bala. I'm from Chennai, sir.
Hi, Bala.
So, sir, at what time, at what point did you get the idea like you can become a cinematographer? Is it before I was like going to a photographer and change into cinematographer? Like, at what time did you get the idea?
I think your heart will say it when you're ready.
Okay.
As philosophical as we can get. It's your gut, right? It's your,
Uh,
yeah, it's something more deeper.
so
If you
the school
don't
time.
be foolish in thinking that I can do something, because then it's more of like it has to come from within, I think. And also, if you get if somebody believes in you, that's a good sign, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, like for example, if I I was doing corporate films, and suddenly my friend came to me and said that, "Oh, I'm doing a film. You're the cinematographer." That person believed in me.
Okay. Nice.
So obviously that's because he's seen some of your work and feels that, okay, this person can pull off my project.
Okay.
Yeah, like
And
why will somebody come to you? Because they believe in your work, right? Like, so maybe that's a good sign that, okay, maybe this is when I can move on. You might be afraid, but you got obviously. I used to do theater, and at that time, I was working with a photographer called Sundar Ramu as his assistant. I was just trying to know what is this whole photography about. Of course, when I was in college, I used to go and take pictures, and they look good now when I see it. So maybe it was in me. So I just didn't know it. That is why, Indian education system kind of like is so weird, because we are told what to do when we were 18, when we don't even know what we're all about.
yes.
So when I look at my older pictures, I know that, okay, there is some frame there. There is some meaning to it. It might not be like, some epic or something, but there is some grammar. So maybe it's in you. And so at some point it will come out. Yeah.
Yes,
And
sir.
then you feel that, okay, this is what I have to pursue. I wish we had more time, like maybe till we are 22, 23, maybe a little more than what we are given now. Yeah. So when I was working, I was doing theater, and then somehow it happened that I ended up, I was working with a photographer after that. And then it so happened that Rajiv Sir's film school started at the same time. And I'm like, okay, it was not so expensive back then. And I was like, okay, if I learn this skill set, it will stay with me. And I went and joined Mindscreen. It was 6 months. So, like, everybody has their own journey. We all have our own journey. For example, like how we just had Vishal talk about, he works in a radio station, but but he wants to be a DOP. So there is a calling that might call you, right? Like saying that, okay, this is what I want to pursue. You're looking around, right, all the time. You're looking at around, absorbing information,
Yes.
and then you feel that, okay, hey, that connects with me. Maybe I like. Why does somebody want to become an actor, right?
Yeah. Yes.
It's
Yes.
not- that's a personal calling. Like you feel that, hey, I can do that.
Oh, nice.
Likewise, as cinematographer, feel that, okay, hey, maybe I can do that,
Okay. Okay.
and then it flows like enga thodangum enga mudiyum aatrin payam madri, like that.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll have the last 2-3 questions maybe, and then wind up. Yeah, yeah. Wind up at 8 o'clock. Yeah. I don't have to like refer any books. I feel I think you can go. I mean, I don't remember now if I were to tell you also. Just go online and look it up. I think that's the best place. Yeah. We initially tried a pro mist filter, but then it was becoming too dark. Already we were shooting in darkness, and then like it became too much darker. So I got away with the pro mist, and we shot open, no filters. Yeah. Hmm.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, sir. To be honest, out of nowhere, I literally don't know about you that much. I'm saying this with all my heart. And please, like, forgive me if I said something wrong. I'm a very direct person. So I just want to ask, like, can you really help in getting into Telugu and Kannada movies? Because, like, sorry, my English is very bad.
No worries.
Can you, like, understand Hindi?
No, no, no. I understand what you're saying. Go on. Yeah.
Okay, 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 no problem. So I was doing acting like since 5 years. I worked here in Bollywood also, like, but a very little kind of thing. And also I went to Bangalore to meet like KRG Studios and for because that time I was new like KGF Part 3. KGF was the only movie that hitted me. I've seen only one movie from South Indian until that time, and now I've seen almost every movie. So that's why like my need is to get there. Anyhow, I went there with no money. I have right now I have zero balance in my account. Whatever I had, I went there. I met like KRG producer. I don't know their name, Karthik Gowda, I guess. So I met him and he told me few things. He gave me few numbers. I called them, but there is nothing like they can do right now. So I'm like, I need to get in movies there and any work. Like not I'm not saying any lead or something like that. If I fit in role, but I just want to work in those movies.
I am a cinematographer, Prince.
But you
I don't know
have
if I can
the
help you with this, but I think the best thing that you can do, I mean, I'm just saying it because I don't know the actors world, how things work there. But maybe you can, like, how you went and met producers. I think that's the best way to go about it. Go and get a photo shoot done, get some acting show reel ready, and you just keep sending it to people. And, somebody might like your work and, pick you up.
can you send me like few of their email IDs or they are active?
Instagram is a good place you can start with. Instagram
Would
में
like
स्टूडियो प्रोडक्शन हाउसेस का पेजेस होते हैं ना, उसमें आप you send your resumes and stuff like that and look for casting calls. Yeah.
yeah, I have
Facebook में
done that.
casting calls होते हैं. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
but still doesn't getting anything, no? So that's why I'm asking.
I mean, there's more of like a technical call, so I'm sorry, really. Yeah,
Okay, no
yeah, drop
problem.
emails and stuff like that. Thank you very much. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
trusting and asking. Yeah, thank you. I wish I could help. Sorry, who? Okay, go on, Abhilash.
Hello.
Yes.
Good evening. Thanks for inviting. I'm
You're
Abhilash. So I was an account manager for a advertising firm in Trivandrum.
Uh-huh.
And so I follow film. I love films, and I follow a lot of cinematographers, filmmakers, and all that. And I was a trainer before, and later
Okay, trainer. Okay.
I was a multimedia trainer.
Okay.
Then I worked in corporate companies for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then I moved back to advertising, and I was into hybrid 3D visualization and live action footages and all that. So I was just going through your work recently when I just saw the teaser and I was amazed. I mean, like that single 1 hour was really brilliantly done. I'm a fan of your work. Like I've seen Lucy a long way
Thank
back,
you.
and when like Lucia was a like is a and forever will be a cult film. And but my question is how like important it is to have a managing a practical like working in advertising at the same time working in a features and documentary. So is it possible to currently like a cinematographer like you to shift from one area of like what do you call and advertising to feature then back to documentary? Is it
100%.
possible?
Of course you can. You should. I would say you should, because the reason is that each format has different challenges. Otherwise, you'll get bored, right? Otherwise, your work might get repetitive. You need to like constantly keep exploring different formats and different avenues of storytelling. And I do documentaries, I do ads, I do films, whatever like connects to you, And if somebody is calling you, do it. I mean, why would you say no?
That's it. Yes,
That's a
thanks. One
learning
last.
opportunity for you.
Thank you. One
Of course, if you
last
like it,
question.
you like the subject. That is, yeah.
Yes, of
It's very
course I
important.
like it. Of course I like it.
I mean, like
So
the subject. If somebody is giving you a subject and say that, hey, do you want to shoot it? If you're connecting with it in a deeper level, maybe you should pursue. That is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, and I'm a Malayali, so I'm looking forward to see your work, like a collaboration with
I've been
Malayali
asking
director.
people. I've been asking people to connect me to some Malayalam movies. I hope that happens.
Yeah, like someone like Lijo Spilliseri, I really would like to see you girls, like happens.
Yeah, I would.
Hope that happens very soon. Good luck, sir.
Thank you
And
very much.
thanks so much for your time, Srika and Siddhartha. Thank you so much, and wish all, like good luck and
Where are
for
you from?
next projects too. I'm from Palakkad,
Palakkad.
Kerala.
You're talking
So
from
I'm currently
Palakkad.
working in talking from Tanur. It's Malappuram district. It's the northern part of Kerala,
So
Malabar
you work
side.
there, is it? You work.
I work in Trivandrum. So
Super,
I was
super.
just home for today, and suddenly got your message,
Oh.
and I was like, okay,
No, I wanted to basically so many people have messaged me and I'm not able to
Uh-huh.
reply back. I kind of feel bad. So I was like, okay, let me talk to everybody, so that I feel that this kind of conversations are good. It always,
Of course it
there's
is.
something maybe we could do once in a few, every time something comes out or something, then we can have this conversation flowing, and make it a proper, maybe I can suggest to Ram also, like maybe you can take this ahead, like and say that, okay, let's have these kind of interactive sessions. Like I understand where we do like interviews and stuff, but I think this is more what do you call fun, democratic, and we also learn. I feel like these questions
Yes,
also
yes,
rekindle your imagination, and you want to explore new things and encourage you, inspire you, and it becomes a beautiful little family thing.
yes. Thank you so much for your time. Like you're giving us like almost it's past 1 hour, and you just stepped out of like a blockbuster just playing next to our like in the theater. Thank you so much, and
Thank you
good
very
luck. And one thing I don't know, you might know him. I've had the opportunity to teach graphics to Sriraj Ravindran, who was an alumni of
much. I heard of this.
Mindscreen.
Yeah.
He recently directed cinema. Was the DOP of Tinglash Nishayam, which won the National
Hmm.
Award for
Mm-hmm.
best film recently. And so I get to talk to them. So they also talk about all this experience that Mindscreen gave them, and it's a very good place to learn a lot of things. And so I will also great to know that you are from the same school of film. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Very kind of you.
So that's it, Srikar. Thanks so much.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Ram. Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Thank you. Please continue with takeoff.
I think Venkatesh was saying something.
Please continue this type of conversation.
Sure.
Please do.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this.
Um,
Thank you.
thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
You've
much.
taken a screenshot.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Can you all switch on your cameras so that we'll take a snapshot of the.
Done, sir.
It's indeed a very beautiful and precious memory for all of us, sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
You're welcome.
Thanks, sir.
Done? Done? Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. See you.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much,
Okay,
sir.
sir. Bye bye.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Good
Bye.
night.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
See you soon.
And thanks to Mr. Shrikar.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Shrikar. Mr. Shrikar. Yeah. Nice meeting you guys.
Thank you, Shrikar, sir.
Cheers, lads.